Ashlea the Orange Lady. Welcome to the Squeeze Podcast. Here to give you the tough but necessary juice you need to build and sustain your career. I have worked in tech and nonprofit and the public sector, and I've made all the mistakes, so you don't have to. Let's talk about resume mistakes today, my favorite topic. And it has been a while since we have talked about resumes because honestly, I get tired of it because I look at resumes every single day. But you know who doesn't? Probably you. So when you are ready to dust off your resume, these are some things that I want you to take into account. Okay, but if you're new here, welcome to a little bit of, usually it's iced coffee. I forgot my iced coffee this morning. So this is a little iced water with electrolytes, okay? Liquid IV, you can sponsor me. Let me give a little context as to why I felt so compelled to talk about something that I don't necessarily like to talk about, but no, it's super important. Recently, I was sent a packet of 10 resumes. These 10 resumes are from students that are graduating with a master's degree. I will not name the academic institution, but they're graduating. And so I said, I have the time today to look through all of them. And the only thing I was looking for was one thing. I wanted to see how many of them showed results, had outcomes. And I will keep you waiting to find out how many out of the 10 had this. Let me talk about what I mean. We were taught, probably, that a resume just needs to show, right? Like basically take your job description, the bullet points from it, drop it in your resume. Good. You've shown what you do, right? Or what you're capable of doing, because this is what I perform in my job. Well, that is so 2000 and late. Sorry. Okay, that was so she cut that out, Michelle. It's embarrassing. I mean, but it is. That actually is cringy to say so 2000 and late, because that is how it feels when I read a resume that is just like a job description. I'm like, where have you been? Why haven't your friends sent you my content so that you know better? Because if you've been following for a while, you know that you have to show your wins. You have to take, I have a formula that we use. What I did, the action I took, and the results I got. And there's usually a number in there. If not a number, then a qualitative outcome, right? That doesn't always have to be a number, but I need to see some numbers on your resume. And so as you are thinking about the work that you do, think about the things that can be quantified, that you can show, like increased attendance or customer satisfaction. There are so many ways that you can measure things and use data to show. And this is what I need you to do. Because let's give an example. You write down, develop and run a program for entry-level professionals. Fantastic. You're like in the learning and development stuff. You're, nonprofit or corporate trainer. Great. Well, how do I know that Bill isn't over there snoozing in your program training? How do I know that Keely isn't just sending memes to her bestie during your training? Like, what even is this? Could have been an email, How do I know that Kamara is not ready to quit and like, why am I here? This is so obvious. That's what saying I developed and lead a program training at my job tells me. Nothing. It does not give me any context. I need to know that you launched or identified a problem, you then created a program to address it, got the support needed and resources to launch it. It is now in pilot, or it has now been launched in 3 different regions. reaching and training X number of young professionals. Do you see how I now sound like a rock star versus, I don't know, Susie? Like, I don't know, Michelle. I don't know if you're any good at that. So that's what I want you to, when you put a bullet on your resume, I want you to ask yourself, am I good at this? Does this tell them how I'm good at it? And if it doesn't, then we're going to work on it. Okay. I'll put the formula down in the caption so that you can see the basic formula you can use. But honestly, if you just say, am I good at it? Like, would someone reading this go, oh, wow, she's good at that? Then we've gotten it right. Okay. Now, imagine if you're reading it and somebody is like, oh, they made a training program. I wonder if they made a training program like Javier and it was boring, long, just a lecture and no engagement. Because if that's what kind of trainings they make, I don't want to hire them. Do you see how when you don't give context, when you don't give results, you are allowing someone else to fill in the narrative about your work? Or, like me, they may just scroll past. They may not even, if you didn't take the time to show me how good you are at it, then I'm just going to keep it moving because I have nothing to go on. Okay, I think I've talked enough about that. Let's move on to jargon. Okay, I know that you know what the EBQAZRMP is and how, you know, it's such a great program and how you have excelled in it or you launched it. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows. Even if you go around saying CSAT everywhere. CSAT. I did CSAT. CSAT improved. Nobody knows that you're talking about customer satisfaction research, except for me. So the words that you use every day are not normal. Remember that the recruiter that is looking, well, actually, the software that is looking at your resume first, most likely, may screen out words that it doesn't understand in context or abbreviations. And then when it goes to an actual human, if they don't have context, again, without context, they're like, well, I don't know if this is relevant or not because I just don't know what it is. So you're not helping yourself. So we want to stay away from the jargon and the buzzwords. For example, I have been talking a lot about levels, right? Especially in like tech and corporate sector, it's called a level. Some people or places may call it a pay band or a work segment. There are different rankings, right? There's different words of what it means. So it basically just means like your pay level and experience level within an organization. And most organizations have kind of set their own, like what you can do at this level, and so on. But I use that a lot. And I realized that people in my audience did not know what a level was. They're like, a level? Like, I need to make sure that it's straight, that everything is aligned. No. So even I, when talking about things, realize that I'm using words that aren't just common. They aren't every day. And I should know this because I worked in the nonprofit sector. We were not in levels. I was an education director. I was a director. I was an associate director of programming. I was the director of programming. But never was I a level. So that's on me. So don't be like me. Again, told you, made these mistakes so you don't have to. This is another fun story. Are you ready? I was talking to a person that is in their senior year of college, and we were talking about like getting their resumes together and what it looks like. And I know someone that knows this person. And they were just looking, because we were in person, looking at me like, oh no, she's not ready. And I was like, okay, what? I don't know what, is going to happen here. I'm just going to ask questions. And I found out that this undergraduate's resume was 3 pages. I'm going to pause and let you answer out loud. How many pages do you think an undergraduate or recent graduate gets for their resume? Drinks water. Okay, it's 1. The answer is 1. It's not 2, and it's certainly not 3. And what I want to be very clear on, me saying that you only get 1 page on your resume does not, loud and clear, does not mean that the work that you have done or that you have captured on that resume is not important. But what it does show me is that you do not have the ability to prioritize and pull up to the top the things that are actually valuable and make the most sense for the role that you're applying for. It just shows me that you have what I would consider like an academic CV, right? A curriculum vitae is very different than what you use as a resume to apply for jobs outside of academia. In academia, really, it's like a scroll. It's like you just keep adding publications and panels and speeches and research. Just everything gets put on there, and it just never gets edited down. But that is not what we need or want for your resume where you are applying for jobs in any other sector. I need to see that you were able to say, okay, even if I have 3 pages worth of work and volunteering and projects that I've done, I am picking out the most, bestest, most incrediblest work to highlight on this 1 page. So you see in 1 page that I am a rock star, and I made it very clear and concise right there for you. Moving on. Now, my rule of thumb is if you have 10 plus years of experience, you can add that 2nd page, right? You can show me. Honestly, I still think everybody needs a good 1-pager. You just need to be able to send it off, and it's like your highlight reel. It's like, you know, at the end of the year when you put, or end of the month even, when you put together your little highlights on Instagram or Be Real, that's what we're looking for here. It's like, show me your rock starness captured. I don't want to sift through every single thing you've done just so that I know that you've been doing things. That's not valuable. So, okay, do we understand? And then once we understand what those things are, then we're going to go back to number 1 and figure out and make sure that they actually show our wins and our outcomes. And then we'll make sure that they don't have any jargon or cliches in them. Okay. That seems really simple, right? Like, we can do this. I will tell you that every single person that I have worked with on a resume, it is like, I kind of love it because the light goes off. Because once I work with you and teach you how to think about it and look at it, you get it forever. It never goes away. Now, does that mean that you don't need like a collaborative process or to work with someone on it? No, it doesn't, but it means that you understand how to draft and put together your work in a compelling way, which will also serve you on your performance reviews, right? No matter how often you have them, or even if it's just annual, you know how to capture your work to show the impact that you've made, which matters more than just like completed tasks, because that's just not going to do it. Final closing thoughts. If you are listening to this and you're a little bit overwhelmed, I totally get it. Let me tell you a story. In with another story. I love that this has had so many stories. Back in, okay, it wasn't that long ago, but it was 2017, I believe. I had joined a networking group in New York City to meet corporate professional women. And I was doing that because I knew I wanted to move from the nonprofit sector to the corporate sector. And I ended up connecting with someone, and, you know, I consider her my mentor, but also friend. And we met up for breakfast to go over my resume. I had asked her if she would review it. So we get to this diner in Queens. I was able to walk from where I lived. It's fantastic. And we're sitting there. We order coffee because we're adults. And I'm, looking at the menu like, oh, this is so cool. And this is my mentor pulling these papers that are printed out of her purse and then laying them out and kind of like pushing them towards me on the diner table, right? Well, I quickly look from the menu to this, well, not this, my resume, and it looked like your high school English teacher that had marked it up in red ink, just like bloody all over, just splatter. It was purple. I still have it. I'll try to find it and post a picture of it or something, but I've kept it because it's a good reminder that no matter how great you think your resume is or know what a kick-ass professional you are, professional here in the Squeeze, you still can learn a lot and have another set of eyes that can make it even better. They see things that you don't. They ask questions because you're in it every day that you don't think about, right? And AI so far does not ask you questions back. AI, like ChatGPT, is only as good as the questions that you feed it. If you're overwhelmed, if you do want some support, DMs are open. I also do, resume packages. We can get them done in 3 days or 3 weeks. It's up to you, but you don't have to do it alone. If you have worked with me on a resume, will you leave some comments so that people know that it doesn't have to be scary? It actually doesn't have to be the thing that you've been putting off forever and are dreading doing. And then you're waiting until you either lose a job or are like horrifically done with your job and then unmotivated, but still need to update your resume. So let me tell you, that's a terrible place to be when you need to update your resume. Okay. I really do think I'm done now. So you've got this. We've got this. If you need a we've got this. Okay. Oops. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for chatting with me today and listening to resume woes that I see. And know that it doesn't have to be you. Don't be that person. Okay. Now I've got the juice. Time to put it to use. Cheers.